Well, SunnyV2 it is.
56 Ferraris, they were rented. Robbie Williams' castle home, it belonged to...
Dang, the quality of this video.
MTV Cribs wasn't exactly legit.
And we said that that was my house.
Oh, that wasn't your house?
No, it's all lies.
And nothing shows this better than the episode with Ja Rule.
I
He flexed
can't
his
even see
5-bedroom mansion on Star Island in Miami, where he talked about living beside other famous celebrities. The house was so familiar that Ja Rule named each area, calling his courtyard the Open Paradise, which was patrolled by his guard dog Cookie. It was shown in the intro that the property was a rental, but this was assumed to be on a long-term basis, given he knew almost
even
everything
see his
about
eyes.
the mansion. However, as it turns out, Ja Rule's house on Cribs was actually a 4-day rental, which was exposed in the most embarrassing way, by lawsuit. Ja Rule paid $46,000 for the 4-day lease, promising the mansion's owner it'd be used as a private home for 8 adults with no video shoots and no loud parties. Well, Ja Rule broke all 3 conditions, shooting his MTV
video
episode
shoots,
whilst having a party
loud
with
parties.
over 600 people. In the process,
Only
holes were
8
punched in the
adults.
walls, furniture and doors were damaged, the driveway somehow cracked, while condoms and syringes were left throughout the house. As a result, Ja Rule and
Condoms and
MTV were sued
syringes.
for $1 million, but at least it looked like a house that Ja Rule would live in, as the Yin Yang Twins crib was laughably out of character. The Atlanta gangster rapping duo opened the door revealing the most suburban
Yin
house,
Yang
filled with
Twins?
fish tanks, sailing boats, and sea-related artwork.
We waving like the sea. We decorated this ourselves now.
That mansion was definitely decorated by some old white people, not the Yin Yang Twins.
This is clearly just a random old white guy's house that likes to fish and likes boats.
They'd even argue over where they bought appliances and had to improvise names for each of the fish. You can tell the Yin Yang Twins have never been in that house. It seemed they at least owned the vehicles at the end, as the cars displayed by Bow Wow were rented for the show. He was just 18 years old during his first Cribs appearance,
Lil Bow
but
Wow.
despite having starred in some high-profile movies, it seemed unrealistic that he could afford a 6-bedroom mansion and a fleet of luxury cars. With his name airbrushed above his bed, it seemed as though Bow Wow at least owned the house, although the luxury vehicles were a little more suspicious, because 2 years later he'd go on the show again, during which a viewer made an observation. We had MTV Cribs running in the background and watched 21-year-old Bow Wow show off his bachelor pad in Miami, along with his pimped out Bentley,
Pimped out
Lamborghini, and
Bentley.
Cadillac Escalade. But then we noticed the word Prestige at the bottom of all 3 cars and decided to Google Prestige Rental Cars Miami,
Prestige
and what do you
Rental
know, there it
Cars.
was. Prestige was the name of the company that Bow Wow rented the cars from, which was likely encouraged by the show, as Birdman also used the service during his appearance. Regardless, people clowned on Bow Wow, stating, "Ha ha ha, I wonder if he rented the condo too," which by looking at his life was also highly likely. For example, he'd post his Ferrari to his Instagram, writing, "Take the drop top to the night spot. Keep the California in California. We went hard tonight, Grammy weekend," which was then reposted by a car rental company who accidentally exposed our good friend Bow Wow pulling up to the Grammys with our
Good
California.
friends.
1 year later, he was exposed for flexing a rented Hollywood mansion, but the worst example was in 2017 when he'd post this to his Instagram. He showed the private jet he was taking to his concert, yet the very same day this Snapchat went viral. So this guy Lil Bow Wow is on my flight to NY, but on Instagram he posted a picture of a private jet
no
caption traveling to
way.
NY today, shaking my head.
He
Turns
is
out
a
Bow Wow's picture
flexer.
of his private jet had been taken from a limo company's website, prompting people to dig even deeper, discovering he'd done this on more than one occasion. It seems his MTV Cribs episode led to years and years of faking luxury,
No
but as
way.
mentioned in Bow Wow's expose,
He's a
50 Cent
professional
had done a
flexer.
similar thing. 50 Cent's episode was the definition of excess. He showed his 19-bedroom, 35-bathroom mansion, which included a squash court, movie theater, recording studio, and its very own nightclub. Equally impressive was his car collection, which included 4 different rare collectible Ferraris.
I tried to open the client and we got the same
Before
message.
when you was watching Cribs because
That message was
Yet
coming
it
from
seems
the
50
client.
Cent didn't have them either. Each Ferrari had little numbers on
Now
their
fix that,
windshields,
Eagle.
leading to a
Fix
forum
it.
post reading. If you notice the small white numbers in the top left-hand corner of the windshields on the
My
F50
God.
and Enzo, those are the numbers of the cars that were
that's
in the
literally what I
Hartford
said.
Concorso parade, which was confirmed when the user
Gotta
posted
re-download.
these photos. Another forum member added, it's pretty obvious that they aren't his, because it's a known fact that there's only one yellow Enzo in CT, which was owned by a pretty well-known hedge fund manager. Well, someone else then
CT?
officially confirmed. The Ferraris are unfortunately not 50 cents. He invited my friend over to his house for this, and my friend let him use his cars for the episode, and they were filming some music videos that day as well. The Enzo F50 and 599 all belong to one owner. When 50 Cent later filed for bankruptcy, he'd admit the cars were rented. He'd instead pay off debts by selling his mansion, therefore joining the likes of JoJo, who admitted to doing MTV Cribs while she was actually homeless. JoJo showed MTV through her Cape Cod vacation home, where she supposedly loved spending her summers. It was therefore a little weird that she'd invite her extended family, but she'd reveal the reason for this exactly 10 years later. JoJo was asked
Homeless
about the
MTV
episode in a
Cribs.
Huffington Post interview, to which she'd respond it was so ridiculous. The thing is, we didn't have a home at that point. My mum and I were living out of suitcases and were mostly in hotels. So that was actually my uncle's house on the Cape. That wasn't my house, that wasn't my stuff. I should have balled hard and been like, welcome to my crib, look at how luxurious it is, and I should have rented out a place. But no, I just used my uncle's crib. JoJo further clarified.
So we went to the Cape, which I've like never been to the Cape. I like never go to the Cape. And we said that that was my house.
Oh, that wasn't your house.
No, that was not my house. We brought in some like items that I had. It's all lies.
Should also answer the question,
Why even bother doing the episode then?
For the exposure. Oh, okay.
but no episode was
Yeah,
faker than the
exposure.
one by Robbie Williams. He showed MTV his massive British castle, talking about the spots where
Dude,
he was
I
snapped
want
by
one.
paparazzi. He then shows his group of friends before making
Oh,
a joke.
so
I
bad.
don't really know these people, but what I do is I actually phone Rent-A-Friend.
But apparently he'd also phoned Rent a Castle. You see, the building was so big that people recognized it as the
Also
famous St.
phoned Rent a
Catherine's
Castle.
Court, which was owned by someone else completely,
Castle.
Jane Seymour. She had no idea that Robbie ever went there, or that he'd hired a fake butler to help out with the shoot. It wouldn't be until 17 years later that Robbie finally admitted, we didn't let Jane know that I was gonna pretend it was my house. And because I was like 23 and full of spunk, I didn't even consider other people's thoughts or feelings. So I'd like to take this opportunity to apologize to Jane Seymour, but it might not have even been Robbie Williams' fault. Because Redman explained in a DJ Vlad interview that MTV tried to get him to rent a house for Cribs,
They wanted me to rent a house so I can open the big double doors and shit like, yo, look at my shit, you know.
with MTV trying to choose the home themselves.
The first thing they said was, all right, we got a couple of houses picked out for you. And I was like, oh, okay.
Well, Redman simply refused,
And I said, you know what? No, I don't want to rent a house. I want y'all to come to my house.
accidentally making the show's most relatable episode. He brought MTV Cribs to his 2-bedroom apartment, where he ironed his shirts on the floor and flexed his frozen fish fillets. Redman's recording studio was just a messy bedroom, whilst the rest of his house was in such disarray, you could barely notice his cousin sleeping on the ground. He concludes the episode stating, next time y'all need to find me, just rub these 2 wires for the doorbell.
Don't worry about the screen too. You know it's still good.
The realest episode of MTV Cribs.
Rub
Redman
these
didn't
2
fake it like
wires
other
for the
celebrities.
doorbell. That's crazy. Oh, what? Oh, no, not response.